Welcome to our channel. If you think all quarters are the same, think again. We're about to explore some of the most sought-after Washington quarters, coins that look ordinary at first glance but have shocked collectors with their rarity and incredible stories. Let's get started. You're about to see a quarter that most people have already spent without a second glance. It looks ordinary, it feels ordinary, and yet it carries a story so powerful that once you know it, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. This is the very first coin we're featuring in today's video, and it's one you should pause on, turn over, and really examine before letting it leave your hands. The 2022 Maya Angelou quarter is not just another modern coin. It represents a major moment in U.S. history, quietly introduced into everyday circulation. When this quarter was released, it marked the beginning of a brand new chapter in American coinage. It was the first release in the American Women Quarters program, a series created to recognize women who shaped the nation through courage, creativity, and leadership. Leading that historic lineup was Maya Angelou, a name that carries deep meaning far beyond the world of coins. Maya Angelou's life story is one of resilience and voice. Born in 1928, she endured hardship, trauma, and discrimination, yet rose to become one of the most influential writers and thinkers of modern America. She was a poet, memoirist, performer, activist, and teacher. Her words gave strength to generations, speaking honestly about pain while always pointing toward dignity and hope. Her work did not just tell stories, it changed conversations. One of her most famous books, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, became a defining piece of American literature. The image of the caged bird, struggling yet still singing, became a powerful symbol of endurance and freedom. That symbol was intentionally woven into the design of this quarter, making it more than a portrait. It's a message, pressed into metal. When you turn the coin to the reverse side, the design immediately stands out from traditional quarters. Maya Angelou is shown standing tall with her arms raised. This pose is expressive and open, suggesting strength, welcome, praise, and liberation all at once. She is not shown quietly or passively. She is shown in motion, in power, in presence. Behind her, a bird rises into flight, a direct reference to her writing and the lasting meaning of her work. Lines radiate outward in the background, giving the impression of light, influence, and a voice that continues to travel far beyond a single moment in time. This design choice was deliberate. The U.S. Mint wanted this coin to feel different, to feel alive. It breaks away from the traditional static look of many circulating coins and replaces it with emotion and symbolism. That alone makes this quarter worth a closer look whenever you find one. The front of the coin still features George Washington, but even here there is something notable. The portrait used is based on a historic design that gives Washington a more classical, sculptural appearance compared to the modern quarter design many people are used to. This creates an interesting balance between tradition and progress, linking America's past with a broader, more inclusive future. These quarters were struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, meaning there are different mint marks you may notice. Some were made for everyday circulation, while others were produced with special care for collectors. Because of this, the quality of these coins can vary widely. Some may show heavy marks and wear, while others appear sharp, clean, and almost untouched. That's why it's so important to look closely before spending one. Coins like this can be worthy of attention because of their condition or because of rare minting errors. Small details matter. Unusual marks, off-center designs, double details, or missing layers can turn an ordinary-looking quarter into something far more interesting. Even without errors, examples that remain in exceptional condition can stand out from the rest. What makes this coin especially important is its place in history. This was the first circulating U.S. quarter to honor a black woman. It was also the opening release of an entirely new program, making it a starting point that collectors and historians will always recognize. First issues often carry added significance simply because they represent the beginning of something new. Beyond collecting, this coin has sparked conversations. It has been used in classrooms, shared in families, and noticed by people who don't normally pay attention to coins at all. It invites curiosity. It encourages people to ask who Maya Angelou was, why she mattered, and why her story belongs in everyday American life. There's something meaningful about the way this quarter moves through the world. It passes from hand to hand, across generations and communities, carrying a story of strength and voice along with it. In a way, it mirrors the journey of Maya Angelou's own words, which traveled far beyond where they began. So as the first coin in today's video, this is one you should never rush past. If you come across a 2022 Maya Angelou quarter, take a moment. Turn it under the light. Look at the details. Check the condition. Watch for anything unusual. Coins like this can be worthy because of how well they're preserved or because of rare errors that slipped through during minting. Even if it ends up being a regular example, it's still a powerful piece of history to hold in your hand. It's a reminder that stories, voices, and change can appear in the most unexpected places, even in something as small and familiar as a quarter. Now let's move on to the second coin, and this one is a perfect example of why you should never underestimate an ordinary-looking quarter. At first glance, it seems like nothing special. It's a Washington quarter, dated 1996, with a small D mint mark. Millions of people have handled this coin, spent it, and forgotten about it. But hidden within this simple design is a story that has stunned collectors and proven just how powerful rarity and condition can be. The 1996 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when quarters were still very much a background part of everyday spending. This was before the state quarters program reignited public interest in coin collecting. Back then, most people weren't saving rolls of quarters or checking dates closely. Coins were used, abused, and spent without hesitation. That's exactly what makes certain examples from this era so intriguing today. On the surface, the design follows the familiar Washington quarter layout. George Washington appears on the front, dignified and steady, a portrait Americans had seen for decades. The reverse shows the classic eagle design, wings spread wide, symbolic of strength and national pride. Nothing about the design screams rarity. Nothing suggests that this coin could ever stand out. And yet, this is where the story gets interesting. The true importance of the 1996 D quarter isn't about flashy artwork or a special commemorative theme. It's about survival. Coins from this period were heavily circulated. They were stacked in cash registers, scraped across counters, dropped on sidewalks, and stored loosely in pockets. Because of this, finding examples that remain in flawless or near-flawless condition is extremely difficult. Most 1996 D quarters show wear. Scratches across Washington's face, dull surfaces, weak strikes, and contact marks are common. That's why collectors pay extremely close attention to condition when it comes to this issue. Tiny details, like the sharpness of the hair, the clarity of the lettering, and the smoothness of the fields, make all the difference. Another factor that adds to the intrigue of this coin is the presence of rare minting errors and exceptional strikes. Occasionally, coins slip through the minting process with unusual characteristics. These might include double details, misaligned strikes, or other anomalies that set them apart from standard issues. When such errors appear on a coin that already struggles to survive in high condition, collector interest increases dramatically. Over time, as collectors began grading and carefully examining modern-era quarters, a pattern emerged. Truly pristine 1996 D quarters were far scarcer than anyone initially expected. Coins that appeared ordinary suddenly became extraordinary when examined under magnification and professional grading standards. This is where patience and attention pay off. A 1996 D quarter pulled from circulation is usually just that, a circulated coin. But one that has been preserved carefully, or one that shows a rare minting characteristic, becomes something entirely different. It transforms from spare change into a serious collector piece. What makes this coin especially fascinating is that for years, it flew completely under the radar. While collectors focused on older silver coins or flashy commemorative issues, quarters like this were ignored. That neglect allowed only a tiny number of high-quality examples to survive untouched. Today, those survivors tell a story of chance, timing, and extreme rarity. Imagine how many 1996 D quarters were struck, and then imagine how few remain in perfect condition decades later. That gap is where collector demand grows. It's also why professional grading plays such a major role in determining which examples stand apart from the rest. Another reason this coin draws so much attention is how easy it is to overlook. The date doesn't stand out, the design isn't special, and there's no obvious clue that it deserves a second look. That's exactly why careful collectors take their time with coins like this. Even small details, such as original luster, clean rims, and strong eagle feathers on the reverse, can dramatically affect how desirable an example becomes. These are the subtle features experienced collectors search for. This coin also highlights the importance of education in coin collecting. Knowing what to look for can mean the difference between spending a coin and saving something truly special. And this brings us to the moment that surprises almost everyone. One exceptional example of the 1996 D quarter, preserved in extraordinary condition and recognized for its rarity, reached an astonishing result when it surfaced in the collector market. A coin that once passed through everyday hands, indistinguishable from countless others, achieved a recorded value of $58,000. That number alone changes the way people look at their change. It's a powerful reminder that rarity isn't always about age. It isn't always about silver or gold. Sometimes, it's about survival against the odds. A modern coin, overlooked for years, can become a standout simply because so few examples remain in top condition or with the right characteristics. So if you ever come across a 1996 D quarter, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Check the condition carefully. Look for anything unusual. Coins like this prove that even the most familiar designs can hold incredible stories and, in rare cases, life-changing surprises. Next up, we have a quarter that looks even more ordinary than the previous ones, yet it carries a story that has completely reshaped how collectors think about modern Washington quarters. This is the 1985 P quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and for decades it passed quietly through circulation while almost everyone overlooked it. In the mid-1980s, quarters were produced in massive quantities and immediately pushed into everyday use. This was a time when people rarely checked dates or mint marks. Saving modern coins simply wasn't a habit. These quarters were dropped into vending machines, tossed into tip jars, jammed into arcade slots, and stacked endlessly in cash drawers. From the moment they left the mint, most 1985 P quarters were destined for heavy wear. The design itself is as familiar as it gets. On the obverse, George Washington appears in a calm, traditional portrait that Americans had seen for generations. On the reverse, the eagle spreads its wings in a classic symbol of strength and authority. There are no special markings, no commemorative text, and no visual clues that would suggest this coin deserved extra attention. That ordinary appearance is exactly why it remained ignored for so long. What makes the 1985 P quarter truly special lies in how it was produced. Collectors have long noted that this issue is infamous for weak strikes. Washington's hair often appears flat, especially above the ear and along the ponytail. The lettering can lack crisp edges, and on the reverse, the eagle's feathers frequently look soft and poorly defined. Strong detail on this coin is surprisingly rare. Even before circulation began, many of these quarters suffered damage. They were stored in large bags, stacked by the thousands, and transported in bulk. During this process, coins repeatedly hit and scraped against each other, creating contact marks and scuffs that permanently affected their surfaces. Because of this, finding a 1985 P quarter with clean fields and minimal marks is extremely difficult. Once released, circulation only intensified the problem. Most examples picked up scratches, rim dings, and worn luster within a short time. Even coins that appear uncirculated at first glance often reveal flaws under closer inspection. This is why collectors study this issue so carefully, knowing how unforgiving it is. Another layer of fascination comes from the rare examples that defy expectations. Occasionally, a 1985 P quarter surfaces with an unusually strong strike, sharp hair detail, bold lettering, and fully defined eagle feathers. When combined with original mint luster, these coins stand out immediately. They look dramatically different from the typical examples most people are used to seeing. For many years, the 1985 P quarter remained completely under the radar. Collectors focused their attention on older silver coins, early dates, or obvious key issues. Modern circulating quarters were often dismissed as too common to matter. Because of this, almost no one intentionally saved 1985 P quarters in top condition. As time passed and professional grading became more widespread, the true nature of this coin began to emerge. When large numbers were examined and compared, it became clear just how few met the highest quality standards. Out of thousands of submissions, only a tiny number qualified as truly exceptional. This coin perfectly illustrates an important principle in numismatics: rarity is not always about how many were minted. Sometimes, rarity is about how many survived. When millions are produced but nearly all are weakly struck, damaged, or worn, the few survivors in outstanding condition become legendary. Collectors today examine the 1985 P quarter with extreme precision. Luster, strike sharpness, surface preservation, rim quality, and overall eye appeal are all carefully evaluated. One small mark or slightly weak detail can separate an average coin from an elite one. The story of this quarter is also a reminder to slow down and pay attention. Coins we handle every day may hold far more significance than we realize. What seems common now can become extraordinary with time and knowledge. Coins like this are often hiding in plain sight inside old jars, rolls, and inherited collections. Many people unknowingly release them back into circulation simply because they look no different from any other quarter. Lighting, magnification, and patience are essential tools when examining a coin from this year. Subtle luster breaks or flat details can instantly separate a common piece from a remarkable survivor. Even the rims and edges tell a story about how carefully a coin was handled over time. Collectors often compare multiple examples side by side to understand just how weak most strikes truly are. When a strong example appears, it immediately feels different in hand and under the light. That contrast is what makes the best specimens so memorable. It also explains why knowledge matters as much as luck in modern coin collecting. Every overlooked detail today can become tomorrow's defining feature. And now comes the part that truly stops people in their tracks. One extraordinary example of the 1985 P quarter, preserved in remarkable condition and recognized for its extreme rarity, carries a documented coin value of $70,000. That single figure forces a complete rethink of modern quarters. It proves that value isn't just about age, silver, or gold. It's about condition, awareness, and survival against the odds. So the next time you come across a 1985 P quarter, don't rush to spend it. Turn it over, study the strike, examine the surfaces, and look closely. Coins like this remind us that extraordinary stories can be hiding inside the most ordinary change. Hold on to your seats, because what we have next isn't just another quarter, it's the crown jewel of our collection today. This is the 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark, and it has captured the attention of collectors worldwide for being an extraordinary rarity in the modern era. It's the kind of coin that makes you stop and double-check every quarter you come across. At first glance, it looks just like any other 1978 quarter. George Washington's portrait dominates the obverse, dignified and familiar, while the reverse displays the classic eagle with wings outstretched. There's nothing flashy about the design, no commemorative features, no intricate details to suggest it's anything out of the ordinary. And yet, this coin hides a secret that makes it far more valuable than you might imagine. So what exactly makes the 1978 no mint mark quarter so remarkable? Unlike most quarters that proudly bear the D for Denver or S for San Francisco, this coin was produced without a mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint. While Philadelphia coins typically carried no mint mark until the mid-1980s, finding a 1978 quarter without one in top condition is exceedingly rare. Most examples circulated heavily, quickly losing their original luster and collecting scratches, dings, and contact marks along the way. Collectors have long known that survival is the ultimate test for coins from this era. Millions of 1978 quarters were struck and spent, tossed into pockets, registers, and coin rolls. The odds of one surviving decades later in pristine condition are astronomical. That rarity is exactly what transforms an ordinary-looking coin into a collector's dream. Condition is the key. This quarter isn't valuable simply because it's old or because it lacks a mint mark. It's valuable because of its state of preservation. Coins from this year were often weakly struck, meaning the fine details in Washington's hair, the letters of the inscriptions, and the feathers of the eagle could easily be flat or blurry. A coin that retains sharp strikes, smooth fields, and its original luster instantly stands out to collectors as exceptional. Even the tiniest details matter. Slight differences in rim thickness, the depth of the letters, or subtle variations in the eagle's feathers can significantly impact a coin's value. Collectors use magnification and precise lighting to examine each surface, seeking that perfect example that survived decades with minimal handling. The 1978 no-mint mark quarter, when flawless, ticks all these boxes, which is why it is so highly sought after. Over the years, only a handful of these coins have been discovered in such remarkable condition. Many collectors have combed through rolls, bags, and inherited collections, hoping to find one. The thrill of uncovering a coin like this comes from knowing that it has survived decades almost untouched, a tiny survivor from a time when most were destined for wear. Another fascinating aspect of the 1978 no-mint mark quarter is its story of oversight. For decades, collectors were focused on older, silver coins or coins with more obvious rarity factors. Modern quarters were often dismissed as too common, which ironically allowed this coin to quietly survive. Those who recognized its potential early on were rewarded handsomely. This coin also demonstrates the importance of awareness and knowledge in collecting. It's a reminder that rarity isn't just about the year or metal. Sometimes it's about a subtle combination of factors, minting anomalies, condition, and historical context. Coins like this reward those who understand these nuances and take the time to study them carefully. Collectors today approach this coin with extreme scrutiny. They examine luster, strike sharpness, surfaces, edges, and even how light reflects off the fields. They look for signs of circulation, microscopic contact marks, and variations that can make one example worth exponentially more than another. It's a level of attention that transforms ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. The story of the 1978 no-mint mark quarter is also about luck and timing. Many of these coins might have been lost forever if not for careful preservation, chance discoveries, and the keen eye of collectors. Each surviving example carries decades of history, not just of the coin itself, but of the hands it passed through and the era it represents. And now comes the part that truly stops people in their tracks. One exceptional 1978 no-mint mark quarter, preserved in virtually perfect condition and recognized as an extreme rarity, carries a documented sold price of $81,000. That number is staggering, considering how ordinary this coin looks to the untrained eye. It proves that value isn't just about age, silver, or gold, it's about condition, survival, and awareness. A single coin, handled carefully and preserved over decades, can become a treasure beyond imagination. So the next time you come across a 1978 quarter, don't rush to spend it. Turn it over, study the strike, check for luster, examine the surfaces, and look closely. Coins like this remind us that sometimes the most extraordinary stories are hiding inside the most ordinary change. And if you're lucky enough to find one in exceptional condition, you could be holding a piece of history that collectors dream about for a lifetime. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more rare coin stories and hidden treasures. A big thank you for watching, your support helps us bring you even more amazing discoveries. Drop a like if you found this interesting, and let us know in the comments which coin surprised you the most. Stay curious, keep collecting, and remember, extraordinary treasures can be hiding in plain sight.